Have you ever noticed that there's a voice in your head? Not your actual voice, not the sound coming from your mouth, the one that's speaking right now as you listen to these words. The voice that comments on your life, plans your future, replays old conversations, worries about tomorrow, and sometimes refuses to stop talking. Most of us experience this voice every day. It's so familiar that we rarely question it. We simply assume that voice is us. But here's something strange. Scientists still don't fully understand what that voice actually is. And the more researchers learn about it, the stranger it becomes. Because the voice inside your head may not be what you think. To understand why, try a simple experiment. For the next few seconds, don't think any thoughts. Completely empty your mind. No words, no images, no internal dialogue, just silence. Can you do it? Most people can't. The moment you try to stop thinking, a voice immediately appears. Maybe it says, "Am I doing this correctly? Is this what they mean? When will this end?" The attempt to silence the voice often causes the voice to become even louder. It's like trying to smooth the surface of water with your hands. The harder you try, the more ripples you create. For most of human history, people simply accepted this inner voice as part of being conscious. But modern neuroscience has revealed something surprising. Not everyone experiences it in the same way. In fact, some people have a constant internal monologue. Others experience only occasional inner speech. And some people report having almost no verbal inner voice at all. Think about that for a moment. There are people walking around right now who do not spend their days listening to an ongoing narration inside their heads. For many people, that idea sounds impossible. How do they think? How do they plan? How do they make decisions? The answer is that thought is much bigger than language. Your brain can process information without turning everything into words. You can recognize a face without describing it, catch a ball without explaining the physics, feel an emotion without naming it. Much of what your brain does happens beneath language. The inner voice is only one layer of a much larger system, and that raises an important question. If thoughts can exist without words, then where do the words come from? Researchers believe the inner voice is closely connected to the same brain systems used for speaking. When you talk out loud, certain areas of your brain become active. Remarkably, many of those same areas activate when you speak silently inside your head. It's almost as if your brain is having a conversation with itself. But that explanation creates another mystery. If the voice is speaking, who is listening? Think about what happens when you hear your inner voice. Part of your mind is generating the words. Another part is aware of them. You can observe the voice. You can disagree with it. You can even argue with it, which means something interesting. The voice and the observer cannot be exactly the same thing. After all, you can watch the voice the same way you watch clouds moving through the sky. And that observation has fascinated philosophers for centuries. Many traditions have pointed toward the same strange realization. You are aware of your thoughts. You are aware of your emotions. You are aware of the voice inside your head. But if you can observe those things, perhaps they are not the deepest part of what you are. This idea becomes even stranger when we look at how thoughts actually appear. Try predicting your next thought, not choosing it, predicting it. What will your next thought be exactly? Can you know it before it arrives? Most people can't. The next thought simply appears. One moment it isn't there. The next moment it is. A memory, an image, a worry, a random sentence, a forgotten song. Something enters awareness. But where did it come from? You didn't consciously build it piece by piece. It simply arrived. And neuroscience has uncovered evidence suggesting that many brain processes begin before we become consciously aware of them. In other words, Your brain may be preparing thoughts before the conscious mind even knows they exist. The voice inside your head often feels like the author of your experience. But what if it's actually the narrator? Imagine watching a documentary. The narrator explains what's happening, but the narrator isn't causing the events. They're describing them. Some researchers believe the inner voice may work in a similar way. Rather than creating every thought, it may be interpreting thoughts that have already emerged from deeper brain processes. That possibility changes everything. Because if the voice is not generating every thought, then what exactly is its role? Perhaps its job is to create a story. Human beings are natural storytellers. We build narratives about our lives. We explain our actions. We create meaning. We connect events together. The voice inside your head may be the tool your brain uses to transform countless unconscious processes into a coherent sense of self, a story that feels continuous, a story that feels personal, a story that feels like you. And that story is incredibly powerful. Without it, your experiences might feel disconnected, chaotic, fragmented. The voice helps organize reality. It creates the feeling that there is a single person moving through time, the feeling that there is a stable you. But even that feeling may be more mysterious than it appears, because the version of yourself from 10 years ago is not the same person you are today. Your body has changed, your beliefs have changed, your memories have changed, your goals have changed. Yet somehow, you still feel like the same person. The voice helps maintain that illusion of continuity. It stitches together countless moments into a single narrative, but occasionally the illusion becomes visible. Have you ever caught yourself talking internally and suddenly wondered, who am I talking to? Why does it feel like there are two participants in this conversation? One speaking, one listening, one thinking, one observing. The more closely you examine the voice, the harder it becomes to define. And that's why consciousness remains one of the greatest mysteries in science. We can study neurons, brain regions, electrical activity, chemical signals, yet the experience of being aware remains deeply mysterious. Somewhere inside your brain, billions of neurons are exchanging information, and somehow that activity creates thoughts, memories, dreams, emotions, and a voice that feels like you. But perhaps the strangest part is this: the voice inside your head isn't always there. There are moments when it disappears, moments of complete focus, moments of awe, moments of deep meditation, moments when you're fully absorbed in an experience, and yet you continue to exist, you continue to perceive, you continue to be aware. Which suggests something remarkable. The voice may not be the source of consciousness. It may simply be one expression of it. A tool, a narrator, a companion, not the whole story. And maybe that's the real mystery. Not where the voice comes from, but why there is an awareness capable of hearing it at all. Because if you can listen to the voice, if you can observe the thoughts, if you can watch the narration unfold, then perhaps the most important question isn't, what is the voice? Perhaps the most important question is, who is listening?